Welcome to Tea Break Academy. Enjoy the bedtime story with Little Dream Tales. Little Red Riding Hood and the Friendly Forest Wolf. Once upon a time, beside a beautiful green forest, there lived a cheerful little girl named Rosie Red. Rosie had rosy cheeks, bright sparkling eyes, and a lovely red hooded cape that her grandmother had sewn just for her. Everywhere Rosie went, she wore her little red hood. That was why everyone in the village called her Little Red Riding Hood. Rosie loved visiting her grandmother more than anything in the world. Her grandmother, Grandma May, lived in a cozy cottage deep in the forest, surrounded by flowers, berry bushes, and tall pine trees. Grandma May baked the softest bread, made warm berry tea, and always gave the best hugs. One sunny morning, Rosie's mother placed a picnic basket on the kitchen table. Inside were warm muffins, apple jam, honey cakes, and a little jar of soup. Grandma May isn't feeling very well today, Mother said gently. Could you bring these treats to her? Rosie smiled brightly. Of course. Mother tied Rosie's red cape neatly. Remember, she said kindly. Stay on the forest path and be careful. I will. Rosie promised. Then she skipped happily toward the woods. Skip, skip, skip. The morning sunlight danced through the leaves. Tiny birds chirped above her. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Butterflies fluttered beside the path like floating flower petals. Rosie hummed a cheerful tune as she walked. After a while, Rosie noticed something moving behind a tree. Rustle, rustle. Out stepped a large grey wolf. Rosie gasped softly. But the wolf did not growl. He looked shy. The wolf's name was Walter Wolf. Walter had soft grey fur, big paws, and kind golden eyes. He bowed politely. Good morning, Walter said softly. Rosie blinked in surprise. Oh. Good morning. Walter smiled a little. Walter Wolf said, that basket smells delicious. Rosie giggled. It's for my grandmother. Walter tilted his head curiously. Walter Wolf said, you're not scared of me. Rosie thought carefully. Well, you seem polite. Walter's tail wagged slightly. The truth was, Walter often felt lonely. Most animals ran away when they saw him. So he usually wandered quietly through the forest by himself. Rosie and Walter began walking together along the path. What's your grandmother like? Walter asked. She's wonderful, Rosie replied happily. She tells stories, bakes pies, and grows the prettiest flowers. That sounds nice, Walter whispered. As they walked, Rosie stopped to admire wildflowers. Oh! Grandma would love these. She picked yellow daisies, bluebells, and tiny white flowers. Walter helped carefully carry them. Soon they reached a sparkling stream. Walter gently placed flat stones across the water so Rosie could cross safely. Thank you, Rosie smiled. Walter felt warm and happy inside. Nobody had smiled at him like that before. Rosie and Walter Wolf walk on a patch, hidden among the trees, stood Grandma May's cottage not too far away. Smoke curled softly from the chimney. The garden overflowed with roses and lavender. Walter looked nervous. Maybe I should go, he said quietly. Why? Rosie asked. People usually don't like wolves. Rosie frowned thoughtfully. My grandmother likes kind hearts. Before Walter could answer, the cottage door opened. Grandma May stepped outside wearing a soft purple shawl. There's my sweet Rosie, she called. Rosie ran forward and hugged her tightly. We brought muffins, Rosie said. And flowers, added Walter shyly. Grandma May looked at the wolf carefully. Walter lowered his ears nervously. But Grandma May smiled warmly. Well, she said kindly. Any friend who carries flowers is welcome here. Walter's eyes widened. Really? Of course, Grandma May laughed gently. Inside the cottage smelled wonderful. Fresh bread. Berry pie. Honey tea. Rosie helped set the table. Walter carefully stacked firewood near the fireplace. Grandma May poured warm soup into bowls. Soon all three sat together at the little wooden table. Walter tasted berry pie for the first time ever. His tail wagged happily. This is delicious. Grandma May chuckled. You know, Walter, people sometimes fear things they don't understand. Walter looked down sadly. I never wanted anyone to be afraid of me. Rosie smiled brightly. Now you have friends. Walter's golden eyes sparkled. After lunch, Grandma May suggested a walk through the garden. They watered flowers together. Walter carefully carried watering cans with his giant paws. Rosie picked strawberries. Grandma May told funny stories about when Rosie was a baby. Everyone laughed and laughed. Then Grandma May had an idea. Would you both like to help me build a birdhouse? Yes. Rosie cheered. Walter nodded eagerly. Together they gathered wood, paint, and little decorations. Rosie painted tiny flowers on the roof. Walter carefully nailed the pieces together. Grandma May tied a blue ribbon around the finished birdhouse. Soon, birds were visiting their new home. Tweet, tweet, tweet. The three friends clapped and laughed. As the afternoon sun began to sink lower in the sky, Grandma May brought out a basket of warm cookies. The garden glowed with golden sunlight. Butterflies danced above the flowers. A family of rabbits hopped through the grass. This is my favorite day ever, Rosie said. Mine too, said Walter. Grandma May smiled. I think kindness has a way of bringing friends together. Walter thought about that. Perhaps Grandma May was right. As they walked, the evening breeze rustled gently through the trees. The sky turned orange, pink, and purple. The first stars began to twinkle. At the edge of the village, Rosie turned and hugged Walter tightly. Will you visit again? She asked. Walter blinked in surprise. You'd really like that? Of course. Walter smiled his biggest smile. I'd like that too. From that day on, Walter often visited Grandma May's cottage. Sometimes he helped carry wood. Sometimes he planted flowers. Sometimes he fixed fences or watered the garden. And sometimes he simply sat by the fire listening to stories while Rosie giggled beside him. Little by little, the villagers stopped fearing the wolf. They discovered that Walter was kind, helpful, and gentle. Soon everyone greeted him with a smile. And whenever a new visitor came to the forest, Rosie would proudly say, "This is my friend Walter Wolf." Walter would wag his tail and bow politely. The visitor would soon become his friend too. As for Rosie, she still wore her bright red hood everywhere she went. And every time she walked through the forest, she smiled. Because she knew that among the tall trees, beside Grandma May's cozy cottage, a good friend was always waiting. And together they shared stories, laughter, and many happy adventures. Because sometimes the best friendships are found in the most unexpected places. The end. And now our story comes to an end. If you enjoyed this magical adventure, don't forget to subscribe for more bedtime stories. Until next time, sweet dreams, little dreamers.